All right, man. Let's talk about Cam Thomas. Apparently, we've already spoken about him joining the Pistons and being a favorite to land on the Pistons, and the Pistons have like a 14 plus, almost 15 million trade exception. But then on the flip side of it, it's to the point where it's like now I think leaked on Bleacher Report. I forget the exact writer who leaked it. Says that Cam Thomas wants more than 14 million. Says the Brooklyn Nets offered him around 14 million dollars 2 years, which would equate to around 28 million dollars, give or take a couple $100,000 in there or whatever. And basically came out saying that he wants to be paid like one of the top playmaking scorers. I don't really see him as a scorer, but I think it's for the part saying just his ability to score. And there lies the problem. I can't blame him, because then you go around, you see guys around the league, getting $20-30 million a year, and they haven't even averaged 20 plus points a game. Now last season he played 25 games. I think it was either a hamstring or a calf that kept him out the rest of the season. So he didn't even play a quarter of the season. The year before, he played 66 games, had around 20 plus points a game, 22. He just doesn't do anything outside of scoring, and that's why it's hard for a contender to come in and say, well, let's build with him or let's build around him. He needs to rebound. He needs to learn how to, space the floor, just to play without the ball, learn how to space the floor a little bit, slash a little bit. Play without the ball, defend at a high level, learn how to play make. And until he learns how to do that, it's going to be hard for anybody want to give him the money just for scoring. And especially if he don't want to embrace the role coming off the bench and being the spark plug. And people know those young guys, they don't want to embrace being the sixth man. But until, he becomes a complete basketball player and learns how to move without the basketball, catch and shoot, learn to give proper spacing. A lot of these guys, they don't have the ball and they lost. Because when you don't spend a lot of time in college, those are where you really learn the military style of basketball. I said this before, and I believe on my main channel, DeMar DeRozan brought that up, saying that's, he didn't learn really how to play basketball until he got to college. He went to UFC, and I believe that's the same thing for Cam Thomas. Just learning how to, move without the basketball, playing against that traditional zone shows you have to move the ball. You can't go 1-on-5. You got to drive, kick. You got to pass to beat the press, pass to beat the zone, get offensive rebounds. And for him, it's just everything is with the ball in his hand. If he learns how to just, you playing next to a Cade and learn how to just shift a little bit to get Cade some space to kick it to you for three, or how to slash through the baseline, or how to cut without the basketball. And then when he got the basketball, his mind ain't looking to score. Maybe he's looking just to make the right play. And the right play might be to get a bucket. The right play may be to facilitate how to run the offense where you're not the primary scorer. In his mind, he's just one of those guys that just get into kill mode as far as a scorer. And that's why Gilbert Arenas love him so much. But on the flip side of it, that's why Gilbert Arenas didn't win anything in the National Basketball Association, because he made nobody better. It was just about him scoring. And when you score that way, it's hard to win, because when you need your teammates, you didn't dominate the ball so much they cold. So Chauncey Billups went through that transition as well too, where around the league he had to learn how to play point guard. Isaiah, back in the day, they tempered you. They kind of tempered you down to be a point guard. Isaiah was a dynamic scorer. I think some people forget how great of a scorer that Isaiah Thomas was. And for the most part, they tempered his game down to be a true point guard. But in reality, that's the reason why, they end up winning championships on the Pistons, because he had to sacrifice scoring, to be a true point guard for them to win. And Cam Thomas got to make that transition. And, I'm a scorer. Yeah, Kobe had to figure it out too. He had to defend. He had to pass. He had to learn to be a full, well-rounded basketball player. Michael Jordan too, one of the best scorers you'll see. But he had to learn to let Pippen, run the show and trust other his teammates. And Cam just don't play winning basketball in a starting lineup. So if you're going to pay him, you pretty much paying him to come off the bench and be the Joe to energy. And if you're going to pay him what he's looking for, which they didn't specify, he said he wants to be paid like one of the more dynamic scorers or playmaking scorers in the league. He probably looking around $25 million, whatever the cap is. My thing is this, then you pay him that, then you hope that he evolves or develops into that type of player, but he hasn't shown that. And playing in Brooklyn, obviously where, it was what it was, they didn't have too many terrible players, but he loves to learn how to be a full-fledged basketball player. I think 14 million, I get it. I think it's a good price range for him, but I get it. I really do get it. I get it from the point of, him saying that. I get it from the point of him saying they giving money to guys that don't even deserve the amount of money that they getting. $20-$30 for this guy, $1 million for this guy. He ain't sniffed 20 points. You know what I'm saying? So I feel him on that. I definitely do. But in my humble opinion, are you going to embrace a bench role? Are you going to develop and be a well-rounded guy? People just think scoring. It ain't about scoring. It ain't all about scoring. You got to do some things as well too, to make your teammates better, especially at that guard position, man. So until he figure that out, it's gonna be hard pressed to find somebody that's gonna hand you 20 to $30 million, whatever you're looking for. That's gonna be hard pressed, very hard pressed. So, at some point, hopefully he figures that out. And becomes a full NBA player. But if he don't figure that out, that's he won't probably be over in China, putting up video game type numbers. So, it's unfortunately we live in an era where everybody lies to us, and when you tell people the truth, you have to fall out with them. If your agent telling the truth, if your parents tell the truth, your brother, your homeboy, everybody wants to be lied to. They don't want the truth. They don't want the truth, what they call unadulterated truth. They don't want it. The truth is, for him, he needs to work on his game. He needs to learn how to be a true point guard, and not just be a real pure point. No, just kind of well round your game defensively. Learn to pass a little bit. Learn the space. Learn to slash. Learn to run the offense. That's what he needs to do. And if he doesn't do that, then you're just not in a position to get what you're looking for, no matter how much of a dynamic scorer you are. Most teams are looking to play winning basketball. Now, if you want to go somewhere and put up 30 points a game and lose, and people in a team want to do that just to put the asses in the seats, then hey, be my guest if you can find that money and find that opportunity. But I just think he got to put his game together. But hey, hit the link in the description. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Hit the link in the description. You can find me everywhere I'm producing content. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.